So, I've gotten a room here at the local inn in Ivarstead, and I've had a bit of a chance to rest my feet, but I think now it's time to go and at least take a quick look at the house. But it seems there's another dog owner here in the inn. I think I'll say hi to her first. Hello?
Traveler, are you by chance in need of a companion?
A companion? Sorry, at the moment I'm just happy traveling with my dog.
Blast! It seems no one is willing to take this infernal dog off my hands.
The dog? You don't want him with you? I'm honestly a little bit tempted, but I don't think I can handle having two dogs around with me.
I don't blame you. It's a filthy beast. Its hide is as foul as its breath, and it's never at a loss for words.
Well, that's not very nice.
It'll lick things even Namira finds foul, and then proceed to wipe its tongue on your face.
Why are you calling the dog it? Does it have a name?
How should I know? It doesn't respond to imbecile, and I can't think of a more appropriate name. So for now, I've resorted to calling it dog.
You know, loyalty is a rare thing in this world. You should learn to appreciate it.
The loyalty of mortals is indeed a rare and treasured thing. The loyalty of a dog can be bought with a small piece of bread, or a significantly fragrant behind.
Okay, good point.
Have you spoken to Faster yet?
No. I'll tell you, Wilhelm. If I could sweep
The dog doesn't seem to want to part from your company anyway.
Yes. It fails to grasp that I want to murder it. Funny, because that's all I ever think about.
Perhaps but
I guess it's true what they say. Tamriel would be a much better place if we could all be the kind of people the dogs think we are.
Now that's true.
Stupid dog.
The dog must have at least one useful function, or else you would have found a way to get rid of him.
The dog does serve as excellent troll bait.
Troll bait?
Or any bait for that matter. I can't begin to fathom how many enemies this beast has made in its travels throughout Skyrim.
Troll bait? Are you serious?
Well, outside of that, the only quality that sets it apart is the impossible amount of urine it holds in its bladder. Frankly, the dog is a prodigy in this regard, and I can see how it might be useful if you directed it at the right people. The problem is, he refuses to urinate on anyone but his master. And that's a title I would give my left ear and 3 of my toes to remove.
That's a rather specific payment that you would offer. But you know, you might not have so much trouble if you took more of an effort to train him. Not that I'm really one to talk in that regards.
There's the crux of the matter. You referring to it as him. It isn't capable of being trained. It's
come
not
on.
a person. It's a dog.
Where did you find this dog anyway?
I didn't find the cretin. I never wanted him to follow me. It was just bad luck.
What do you mean by bad luck?
Well, it all has to do with the price of troll fat. It's been dropping like flies ever since the book Finn's Guide to Troll Slaying got published. Since I already own a considerable stash, it's in my best interest to kill as many trolls as I can and make the items scarce.
So it's business? How do you go about hunting trolls anyway? Seems like a dangerous pastime.
I usually track their footprints and follow them to their lairs. They typically aren't very happy to see me. Except this one time they were too busy cornering this mangy dog and the army of fleas in its garrison.
And I assume that's the same dog as the one beside you?
That's right. Funny thing is, if I hadn't killed the trolls, this dog would probably have annoyed them to death. Which is precisely what it's doing to me now. In fact, I think the mongrel is trying to kill me by having me commit suicide.
Well, you saved the dog's life, so I guess I understand why it's so attached to you. Can't say I understand why my dog follows me around, but...
It was a coincidence, an unfortunate side effect. At no point did I attempt to do it any favors. In fact, if I had to do it all over again, I might have spared the trolls and used all my remaining magicka on the dog.
Oh, come on, admit it. You like the dog, I can tell.
Like the dog? I don't like fleas, I don't like unpleasant smells, having my face licked, or loud barking in the middle of the night.
Yes, but you like the dog.
I haven't the faintest idea why you'd think I'd enjoy the company of this dirty, flea-ridden cacophony of fur.
Uh-huh.
I was curious. I didn't believe the stories.
So, where are you from, anyway?
My ancestors came from Vivek City. When the Red Mountains found its voice, nearly all of Ardenfell fled west to Skyrim.
Ah, yes.
My mother migrated here with the Serethi clan, and worked at the farm that bears their name.
What was your mother like?
Well, she was a free spirit, so while she came to help out, she didn't stay long. She'd leave on these crazy adventures, and that's where she met my father.
I'll tell you, Wilhelm.
I never even knew his name. But it doesn't matter. As far as I'm concerned, the only name he'll ever have is that of a vile dog.
Perhaps one day.
Well, take care of yourself. Maybe we'll talk more later if you're still around. I'm gonna be in town for a few days, so take care of yourself.
Uh-huh.
Strange. She's like a grumpy Dunmer version of me, almost. Alright, let's get going, Garm. It's already getting dark. Come on, let's see about this house. I'm gonna guess it's that one, so... Oh... Are these... Well, they're sort of stepping stones. They look a bit slippery. Who's that? Well, let's see. And yep, you didn't bother with the stepping stones. You're lying in the middle of the stream. I'm not letting you inside anywhere until you've had a chance to dry off. Hello?
I can't see you, Rada. I can't find you. Why are you hiding? Hide. Don't make me sad.
Who's Rada? Are you okay?
Rada was here, then gone. Went to gather plants and never came home. Nope. Everyone looked and no one could find her. Wilhelm said she'll be back.
Wilhelm.
Told Narfi not to worry. Rada will come back.
What's wrong with you?
With father I said goodbye. With mother I said goodbye. Rada leaves and Narfi can't say goodbye.
Oh.
Makes Narfi very, very sad. Narfi needs Rada to say goodbye.
Here, have the gold piece.
Oh, thank you. Divines bless your kind heart. If you see Rada, tell her that Narfi misses her and to come home soon. Very soon. Soon like the moon.
I will if I see her. Somehow I think I'm not going to see her. So, is he living here? Oh, This place is not in good shape. I wonder what brought half of these walls down and the roof. Well, this isn't good. If he's living here, I don't know if I can just kick him out. Wilhelm. He mentioned Wilhelm, and that is the name of the innkeeper. So let's go talk to him and see if he can tell me something about what's happened here. Oh, looks like the carriage is in. Out for an evening stroll? You're such a good dog, yes. Okay.
Welcome to the Villamere Inn. If there's anything I can get you, just let me know.
Hi, Wilhelm.
If I were you, I'd keep away from the barrow on the east side of town. It's haunted.
Well, I'm not planning on going near any barrows anytime soon. Ugh. Listen. What's the story with the fellow who lives on the other side of the river in that old house?
He's harmless. He's been in a state ever since his sister Rada disappeared over a year ago. He just keeps to himself in what's left of his folks' farmhouse across the river.
Okay, so that's not the house that Mother grew up in. That's actually kind of a relief. But yes, about Narfi. You told Narfi that his sister's coming back?
I just said that to make the poor guy feel better. I'm pretty sure she's dead.
I see.
Rada would gather ingredients from the small island in the river east of here. Then one day, she just vanished. I tried to look for her, but she never turned up.
Oh, that's unfortunate. So, Wilhelm, if that farmhouse belonged to Narfi and Rada's parents, tell me, do you know anything about where the Wintertongues used to live? Okay, so Wilhelm told me where the house is, and I actually looked right at it without realizing. It's here. And it's actually not in such bad shape. Considering how long it's been empty, I might have expected it to be worse off, but especially after seeing the state of that house. Oh, poor Narfi. But I suppose something else must have happened to wreck that house over there. Anyway, Garm, I'm going to leave you here. You're going to wait outside, okay? Good dog. And I'm going to go inside and see what the house is like. At least we're getting a little bit of the moonlight in here. So this is the place. This is where my mother grew up. I've got a few books. Oh. A doll? Kolb and the Dragon. An adventure for Nord boys. And Nord girls too, I assume. Because I'm pretty sure this must have been my mother's bed. And a children's annual, yeah. So I guess this is where my mother slept. And this is where my grandparents slept. Okay. Now there's also a basement. And I do have the key now, so let's see what's down here. Actually, if we're going downstairs, then we might want a little bit of light. Oh yes, definitely need the light down here. No windows to let in the moon. More books. And a bunch of wine bottles. Mostly empty. Let's see. I can barely make out some of these titles. Rising Threat. Flight from the Thalmor. Interesting. Whoa. Is that what I think it is? A Shrine of Talos. My grandparents kept a Shrine of Talos in their basement? Now that's brave. I mean, it's one thing to have a shrine that's away from town that you go to every once in a while, but to keep one in your own house? I mean, the Thalmor do raids sometimes. And if they found this here, that would be an instant death sentence. Whew. Wow. I guess there's not much I can do here tonight. It's gonna take me a few days to clean this place up and get it ready for Mother if she actually is going to come here, but I guess in the meantime, I'll pay my respects to Talos. And I guess I'll go back to the inn for the night. Welcome to Wintertongue Manor. Well, it's not exactly a manor, but it's sure a whole lot more habitable than it was when I first went in. The roof was the biggest job. I've been here for a few days, and most of that time was taken up in re-thatching the place. Got a bit of help from the local farmers, and I got to know a few of the people in town, though I haven't met everyone yet. So there's still some more work to be done. I have to do some cleaning, especially down in the basement, but I bought some lighting fixtures from Wilhelm, and I cleaned up the upstairs portion, well, the ground floor. There is no upstairs. And really all that's left is to clean up the basement. All those wine bottles. Oh, there's one more thing that I discovered back here. It looks like this is where my grandparents are buried. I'm not sure what I should feel about this, really. I mean, I didn't know them, so I can't exactly be sad. Except that I am a little bit sad that I never got the chance to meet them. It's really too bad. Whatever argument my mother had with them, I still wish I would have had the chance to meet them. Well, it's too late for that, I suppose. Let's go on inside. It's cozy in here now. I got some food stores for when Mother arrives, as she does. Or, you know, for me in the meantime. Though, I can't really stay here for very long. Brought in some lavender to help get rid of that musty smell. It still doesn't smell wonderful in here, but it's getting better. Especially now that we've replaced the roof. And I stashed a few of my things here in this knapsack. I'll have to pick up most of it before I go. But for now, I don't have to lug it around. It's amazing. Okay. So, I haven't really looked around much at what's already here. There wasn't much. With books. Ode to the Tundra Striders. Looks like a poem. I'll have to read this later. And The Woodcutter's Wife, which is a story that I've heard before. And it looks like my grandparents kept a few instruments around. I might go ahead and take at least the drums with me. I'm not that great on the flute, to be honest. It's not my preferred instrument. So here's the dresser. Nothing really interesting here. I guess just looks like it must have been some of my grandmother's old clothes. Now this chest is interesting. I haven't looked in it yet. I've been a little bit afraid to, but I'm guessing from where it's placed that it was probably my mother's. I guess the knapsack was probably hers too, but it was empty. Well, let's see if there's anything in here. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the sort of things kids like to collect. Eggs, feathers. Wow. This thing's gonna crumble if I pick it up. And a wooden sword. Somehow it doesn't surprise me that my mother was interested in swords even when she was a kid. And then... Now this is interesting. If I'm not mistaken, this looks like a journal. Oh, I've got to see this. Okay. This diary is the property of Rona Wintertongue. Do not read, or I will put a skeever in your bed, especially you, bully. So, this is my mother's childhood diary. I wonder if there are any interesting secrets in here. And I wonder who Bully is. She's never really mentioned anyone by that name. I guess it must be another kid who grew up here in Ivarstead. Okay. So, okay, most of the early part of this isn't really interesting, but... Oh, here's something. 11th of 2nd Seed, year 168. Papa finally agreed to take me with him on his pilgrimage up the 7,000 steps this year. Oh. I didn't think he would ever let me, but apparently 15 is barely old enough to go. You'd think I was a baby the way he fussed over me, making sure I was wearing enough furs and my boots were properly laced. Ma just patted my shoulder and told me to pray to Lady Kine on my way up. Huh. It looks like my mother adopted her own mother's style of parenting. She never fussed too much over me. You know, if I got into trouble, well, that was all just a learning experience, right? Okay. The path up the mountain was rough, but I think it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The air was so cold and clear, and I could look out further than I've ever looked before. I'm convinced I could see all of Tamriel from the mountain, but Papa said we weren't really high enough to even spot Riften. I guess we didn't go that high because he made us turn back after the 6th emblem. Maybe next year we'll go all the way to the monastery. Well, I know that Mother has taken the full pilgrimage before, so I guess at some point he did take her back. Okay. Oh, here's a later entry. 8th of Heartfire, 168. Soldiers marched through town today on their way south to Cyrodiil. There's something about watching rows and rows of legionnaires marching in that red armor with those bright helmets that makes my blood sing. Yep, that's Mother. Papa frowned the whole time they were passing through, but Ma says the new emperor is right to gather his strength. It's a 168. That was a few years before the war, I think. 3rd of mid-year, 169. Last night, an elf knocked on our door. I think he was a Bosmer. He said he was robbed on the road up from Helgen, and he asked if we could spare some meat and a bit of hearth space for the night. Ma turned him away. She said elves are trouble, but this is the 4th era. It's not like Sarthal was sacked yesterday. I guess the Dominion is bad, but that doesn't mean all elves are, does it? That's strange. Well, as far as I know, Mother's never had any particular problem with elves in general. The Dominion, of course. The Thalmor, especially. But she was always okay with me being friends with Tevrith. 27th of Rain's Hand, 170. So I guess she was 17 at this point? Ugh. This morning, Boley walked up to me with an amulet of Mara around his neck. I pretended not to notice, but he walked past the house at least a dozen times today, staring at me every time. As if I'm going to join myself to him in Lady Mara's temple. All he ever talks about is fishing down in the lake. I have bigger things to do than be a fisherman's wife. That's interesting. She's never mentioned this Boley person before. 20th of Sun's Dusk, 171. Papa is furious. I thought at least Ma would understand, but I can tell she's upset too. I have to do this no matter what they think. General Jonah needs every arm she can muster for the Legion. I can't just sit here while the Thalmor tear the Empire apart. I'm going. 171. So, this must be when she joined the Legion. And her parents were not pleased. Is that why she never came home? Because they disagreed with her for joining the Legion? I don't know, it seems like a bad reason never to go see your parents again. Then again, maybe it was a really bad fight, and maybe there was more to it than that.